Well, what's going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome back to part 2, y'all, of our game-by-game 2026 NC State football season predictions. So with that being said, if you haven't checked out part 1 yet, where we go through the first 6 games of the season, all the way through Wake Forest, make sure to go check that out first and foremost, and then come right back here for part 2, where we finish up the last 6 games of the season here. But just as a reminder here how this works, so we're going game by game, breaking it down, giving our win-loss prediction for the game. And by the end of it here, we'll have our full season prediction here. And so you got myself, Layton Smith, Ethan Berry. Make sure to go, if you have not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If it's lit up for you right now, that means you have not become a subscriber, which is free to do. So what is holding you back? It is literally free to do. So do us a big favor, hit that subscribe button for us right here, right now. And if you enjoyed this conversation, you're very excited for NC State football, do us a favor and hit that like button too as well. Because only UNC fans hit the dislike button or don't hit the like button at all. NC State fans always hit the like button. So make sure to do us a big favor, hit that like button too as well. And if you listen to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, do us a favor and leave a 5-star review as well. We greatly appreciate that. So let's pick up where we left off here, Ethan, which is at Stanford, at Palo Alto, California, October 23rd, Friday game, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, which makes me yawn just thinking about it here. Because, man, I mean, you're talking what, probably a 3.5, 4-hour game. Oh my goodness, me. That'll be tough. But here we are. I mean, hey, it's Stanford. Don't really know if we have really much to say besides just that, good old Andrew Luck is doing his best to figure it out. I don't know if this is going to be the year where he quite gets figured out yet.
You going to be up for the end of this one?
I hope so. I mean,
you hope
I'd like to think so. I mean, dude, it depends. I mean, like if this game goes as I suspect it will, I mean, all right, but Ethan, should we go like next level? Should we commit right here, right now? We're gonna do a live stream reaction to this.
Oh, I'm not committing to a live stream.
The game.
No, I'll be up. I'll be up for the end of the game. I will not commit to a live stream. Absolutely not. I mean, again, it's hard. Like looking at models and looking at preseason projections, teams always bottom out from where they are right now, right? Like the worst teams in the ACC right now are generally like in the 70s. Teams are going to get worse from there. Like, again, you've had some like Stanford was outside the top 100 last year. I think BC was as well. So like things can really fall apart. But these preseason models tell me that this is going to be a real game. And Stanford's going to get somebody. I'm telling you right now. Stanford is going to get a team that goes out west and they will beat them. They play Miami at home. They play Georgia Tech at home. Wouldn't be surprised if it was Georgia Tech. They play NC State at home and they play SMU at home. They're winning one of those games. I don't expect them to be good, but I do expect them to win one of those games. And it very well may be NC State. It very well may. Like this is the team. I'm with you. I don't think they're very good. I don't think. I mean, Stanford with their academic stuff, that they can't compete in the transfer portal era. Like they've got to find another way. So, and they haven't yet. So yeah, yes, State is a better team than Stanford. But again, going on the road, like I don't expect State to be more than a touchdown favorite, at least right now. Again, Stanford come out and could come out and be much worse than expected, or State could be better. But like you asked me right now, I think this is a game, like a tight game. And so I'm picking NC State to win it, but that's kind of my theme here. I think all these games could be competitive. I should say I expect them to be competitive. I mean, we're talking about 10 games with a point spread of 10 points or less. I mean, that's a lot. And Stanford is one of those, again, you don't think it, you look at the name brand, you look at what they've done the last 2-3 years. You don't think, oh, Stanford, whatever. That's a win, right? Like State beat them by 5 touchdowns in Raleigh a couple years ago. Again, going across the country, I expect this to be I'm picking State to win it, but I expect this to be a challenge.
Yeah, even ESPN Analytics right now, Ethan, actually only has 62. As NC State has a 62% chance to win this game, so it's definitely not comfortable. But I mean, two things that play in the favor is the fact that NC State is going to be coming off a bye. Stanford's going to play Elon, which is interesting, the week before at Stanford. But the week before Elon, they go to Notre Dame, and the week after NC State, they go to Louisville. So it's a rough stretch for them for sure. While NC State will be coming off a game versus Wake Forest and a bye week. So, definitely way less tread on the tires, I feel like, for this game. But just like we said, I mean, traveling on the road, there's definitely going to be I'm sure NC State's going to definitely make the trip down early, probably head down probably like a Thursday kind of deal if they can, just because the time change is definitely going to be a factor. Playing a 10:30 p.m. local time game, which is also interesting too, Ethan, as well, because that means they're not even, because keep in mind, they'll still fly back after the game, meaning they won't even get back to Raleigh until probably like 7, 8 a.m. the following morning, which is crazy to say the least to think about. So, be interesting practice schedule that following week. But yeah, with that being said, I think it's a win. But yeah, definitely an upset alert. Definitely can't sleep on this game, literally and figuratively. Uh, but NC State hosting Cal next game. Card Finley, homecoming. Got the second best quarterback in the ACC coming to town here. Uh, Again, I think this is gonna be another, like you said, Ethan, a toss-up game. And what are your vibes on it here?
I again, I'm gonna pick State to lose one of these home games. Now it's not gonna be this one, but I could
Mm,
see it. I could see it. Yeah, JKS
definitely.
is very good. I think he's probably better than Bailey. I think Cal has more money than people think, right? And I wonder if they kind of certainly they threw some of that around to keep him, but I wonder if they threw some of that money around to build a roster around him to give them a chance to compete. And again, I wonder if they could be better than expected. I don't think that roster last year was very good. So can they take a step forward? I like the coach that they had. I did. I don't. I didn't like him enough to remember his name right now, but um, I I thought they had like a decent thing going. Obviously they had Mendoza a couple years ago. State was in a dogfight with that team. It's hard. I have my aunt works at Cal, and so I'm a little familiar with kind of what goes on there. Probably, like, if you were to pick the area of the country and the schools that care the absolute least about college athletics, it's like it might be Cal and Stanford, like at the Power Four level, right? Like,
Agreed. Yep.
maybe Northwestern's in there. Like, they absolutely do not care, and so I think being able to do anything of substance there, like even getting to a bowl, to me is like a win. And yeah, I
Yep.
think Cal is a sleeper. And again, like, they've kind of been left behind in the realignment thing. Like, Cal has had some great players, and obviously Stanford had a great run in the 2010s. Cal has had some great players, um,
Hey,
even like not that long ago.
Aaron
So
Rodgers, one of the greatest ACC players of all time.
right, right. Marshawn Lynch,
Yeah, that's right.
Keenan
Yeah.
Allen went there from North Carolina. So
Yeah.
they've had a button, Fernando Mendoza. They couldn't hold on to him, obviously, but yeah,
Mhm.
it's such an interesting dynamic. And so Cal is one of those teams where I'm really fascinated. I think this is a team that could really, really punch above their weight this year, and wouldn't be surprised at all if they came to Raleigh and won. Again, I'm picking State. I am. I think they'll be better at the rest of the roster. I've talked about that in some of these other games. I think they'll be better at the rest of the roster, and they'll be able to win that game that way. But yeah, I expect this to be a dogfight. I don't think this game will be a layup at all.
Yeah. So here's my thing, Ethan, which is I also think is playing in NC State's favor. There's really 2 things here. At this point, Cal will have played 9 straight football games with no bye weeks in between. They're literally their first bye week is after playing us. They have a bye week and then they go to
That's a
UVA.
long time. Yeah.
That's a long time. That's a
Yeah.
lot of
That
tread on the
that
tires.
probably
For you.
yeah. Yeah, especially with those cross country trips. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also the week before that, they go to SMU.
Mm.
So
You
go
really wonder, like, couldn't they do more to really help these teams out? Like, should the West
well,
Coast
I
teams
mean,
not be required to play in week 0 so they get a built-in, like, why can Cal and Stanford not play week 0 games on the East Coast? And I'm pretty sure Stanford plays Hawaii, or they went out there last year maybe.
Yeah, Stanford
I
plays
don't
Hawaii
know.
at home.
Oh, at home this year, because okay, so they went out there last year. Yeah, it
Correct.
feels like they could do more to help themselves with the schedule, but maybe
Yeah,
not. I don't know.
they're a zero revenue team, and we're getting them to go cross country almost every other weekend. So,
Yeah,
it's tough sledding for sure to Cal and Stanford. But welcome to ACC, y'all. You want it, you're here for it. So, yeah. So those are really the two things I feel like really plays NC State's favor. Is the fact that by that point, Cal will be running on some fumes for sure. Now the
yeah,
one thing that which could be playing in their benefit is you're playing Clemson. Cal plays Clemson at home, fourth game of the season. And then after that, I mean, Virginia Tech, I mean, they could definitely well be within the ACC championship hunt for sure. So, I mean, I still think that no matter what, assuming that Cal takes care of business, at the very least, even if they've only lost to Clemson, they're still in the ACC title picture. So that game between NC State and Cal really can determine who's going to be in a good spot to not necessarily probably control their own destiny. Well, maybe control their own destiny in terms of making the ACC championship game. So that's
yeah,
going to be, in my opinion, Ethan, a super underrated game in terms of what the implications could be for that game. But
yeah,
again, there's a lot of ifs to that statement. So
yeah. And the
one of
other thing
those.
I would throw out there, like, could you see Cal get off to a 3-0, 4-0 start? They get Clemson at home. They play at Syracuse, which again, Syracuse I think is better than expected. But they get Virginia Tech, Wake Forest at home. So could they start 4-0? Maybe. But then you go at SMU, at NC State, at Virginia Tech. That just seems like if your dreams go to die, that's where they go. They're going to die.
Yeah, but again, you got their quarterback Ethan, how do you even say his name?
Let me
we've already had one in link tree, whatever his
Jaron,
name is.
Jaron or Jaron Kiwi Sagapolutelli, Jaron Kiwi
Perfect.
Sagapolutelli.
That was
I
perfect,
got
Ethan.
DJ Uyunglele down. I'm drawing the line here. I'm not doing it. This is
Yagalele.
JKS will suffice.
The Nico Iamalieva. Yeah.
Iamaliava. Yeah, I got that. I figured that one out. Like that one I could
Yeah.
get. I I'm not doing this one.
Yagalele. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, agreed. So anyway, though, you're still gonna have two of the top three quarterbacks in the ACC playing again in that game, which is on Halloween, by the way. So it is gonna be a night to remember. And to make it even more of a night to remember, you got to make sure you have those Oconee barbecue sauces and rubs to use for your tailgating for sure. And even if you're not tailgating at the stadium, if you're watching from home even too as well, throw that Oconee barbecue sauce on there, especially that white gold, which is delicious to say the least. And they even got spicy flavor, jalapeno flavor, if you like something a little bit more kick too as well. But even too, some amazing Oconee dust rubs too as well. So make sure to go and get yours today. Use code Tuffy Talk, all one word, to get 15% off your entire order. So once again, go to Oconee Gold BBQ, Google them, check them out. Use code Tuffy Talk to get 15% off your entire order today. So jumping into the next one here, though, well, I haven't guessed necessarily gave my prediction yet. I'm going to go with a win. I'm still believing here, which is I'm like, oh my gosh, here we
Against
go. NC
Cal?
State fans saying you're yeah. I'm going to go with a win.
Against Cal?
I'm gonna go with a win against Cal. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a
Okay.
win. Forget it. I originally actually Ethan was going into it predicting a loss, but again, just they're playing 9 straight weeks in a row, and then the
That's
week
hard.
before going to
Yeah.
SMU. That's tough,
That's
man.
brutal. Yeah.
That's tough, and
Yeah.
it's at home. It's at NC State. If it was at Cal, I'd say a loss for sure, but it's at NC State. I mean, that could be another potential primetime game. So, which NC State, Carter
Yeah. It's a
Stadium
great
primetime,
quarterback matchup. Yeah.
it's gonna be phenomenal. One of the best of the season, not just the ACC, but in the country. So, um, but next game though, Duke, Military Appreciation Day. So always look forward to that game every single year. Duke defending ACC champion, but obviously feel for them for sure in terms of how things went down with Mensah here. Duke win totals at 5.5. So I don't know, Ethan. I don't know really what to believe here with Duke, and especially too as you get into these last 2-3 games of the season. Who the heck knows how Duke or NC State's going to be at this point? You know what I mean, from an injury perspective. So at this point, you're really just, you're only playing with the cards that you have right in front of you, which who the heck knows what the cards are going to be come November 7th.
You feel bad for Duke with the Mensah thing?
Well, just in
Listen,
terms of, I mean,
yeah, I
like
yeah,
the
I
timing
get
of
in an
it.
yeah, for sure. In an isolated situation, sure. But you know what, Duke? You won the ACC at 7-5. I don't want to hear it. Shut up. Shut up. Like
Oh, I love it.
I
That is a clip right there. I love it. Yeah, and and
you
and,
don't
and then
have you don't
afterwards,
care about football. You have
yeah,
absolutely no right to complain about anything that
no.
happens in football for like the next 10 years.
Well,
But
and then
yes, they
after the
did get screwed in that situation.
and then after the game, Ethan Manny Diaz coming on saying, "Yeah, I think we're a college football playoff caliber team. Yeah, we just won the ACC championship. You should put us in. You're 7-5, my dude.
You
Like
shouldn't have gone
like I
one and
get it.
three in those non-conference games.
Agreed. Exactly. 100% right. So
This
yeah,
is the one that this is the one that I have circled of the one that I'm picking right now. Again, out of all these games, I'd even throw the Stanford game in there. Cal, Wake Forest, Duke. I don't expect State to be able to run the table with these games, and this is the one I have circled. I think Duke has been a boogeyman of sorts for NC State. I think defensively they've really been able to do things against NC State with different coaches. They did it with Elko with MJ Morris. And they, I think,
ooh,
did it to an extent last year against Bailey, where Bailey had 3 or 4 turnovers in that game, even though he still
yeah,
threw for some yards and that kind of stuff. I think they did a good job against him. Yeah, this is not a vintage Duke team. It's not. It's interesting. Like if Duke had lost Mensah early on in the process and been able to redistribute the money, I think we're having a much different conversation here. But I think to me that's kind of the part that gets overlooked. This happened at the absolute last minute, and they didn't get to reuse the money. And so to me
right.
that's such a big deal here. And again, if they had how does the roster looks much different.
Yeah.
And so yeah, for those reasons defensively, I'm picking Duke. I don't expect them to be as good, like I said, as they have been, but I'm picking State to lose one of these home games. This is it. And again, the quarterback they brought in grades out very well in some stuff. And could they find a little bit of a hidden gem there? Possibly. And so I have Duke again. Close
Where
game. Wouldn't be surprised at all if State won.
where did
But
the
yeah,
quarterback come from?
San Jose
You
State.
know, San Jose State. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I
Walker
know you're talking
Eget.
Walker
Yeah.
Liga. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, listen, man. This unfortunately gives total 2025 Virginia Tech vibes, just like a game that Duke should going into this game have no business winning it. And especially at this point, I've basically predicted us to beat Cal.
But
So
I don't
really,
even I don't even agree with that. Like, do you think State's going to
really,
be a big favorite in this game?
well, if my prediction, if our prediction goes down and you're going into this game, what, 7-1, 6-2? I mean, you got and it's at home, you gotta expect NC State is gonna be decently favored. I would say a good 5, 6 point spread at least. So,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
have
even
it at
know.
5 right now. So yeah, I guess would it be bigger is the question.
Yeah. So, I mean, because looking at Duke's schedule too as well, which I'm totally not so the week before they play Boston College the week after us, they play at Miami. So again, what does that play? But yeah, I mean, so with that being said, though, I mean, not necessarily with the Virginia Tech head coach was on the hot seat. Duke's head coach is the first thing from on the hot seat, Manny Diaz. Duke will gladly host Manny Diaz for as long as he wants to be there, which I'm assuming is probably not going to be for much longer. But with that being said, though, yeah, I mean,
What
I this
one
this
more thing though. Can I
yeah,
ask you, like, you bring up Manny Diaz and that's what brought this up.
yep.
How mad would NC State, like, people say you want to win an ACC title and all this kind of stuff, but like, how mad would State fans be if you went 7-5 and won the ACC title and missed the playoff because you went 7-5? Like, how mad would people be?
You know the non-reality NC State fans, I would say yes, they would be pissed for sure. But then I'll be sitting here like, dude, you just won your first AC championship in 50 years. I get it. I get it. But man, we just won AC championship for the first time in 50 years. Like, I'll take it, dude. I will totally take it. Like even 2024 NC
Yeah.
State, it was amazing we made it to the Final Four. Amazing. But I would have taken the AC championship over UNC all day, twice on Tuesday by itself, and would gladly
Yeah, that's
run
a
into
good
the
good
spotlight,
comparison,
man.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I would gladly have taken it. So, like, that Final Four was whipped cream with cherry, with sprinkles, with chocolate syrup on top, with everything. The ice cream itself was delicious, but it had everything on top of it too as well. But I get you though. I get you. But man, you just went 7-5. You know. So anyway though, but yeah, so again, I feel you though, Ethan. It scares the crap out of me. Unfortunately, Doran, is totally could make sense that you're riding high and then you just blow it on this game. So I also too am gonna put this as a loss as much as it pains me. And I'm closing my eyes, even think about being like, am I actually saying this? Yeah, it scares me. I ain't gonna lie. Just again, it just we've seen this before. It's 2021 Boston College. It's 2025 Virginia Tech. Like, I mean,
There's not
2021
many
Boston
of
College,
them.
dude. Yeah. I mean,
There's not
there's a
many
few
of
though.
them, but
There's a few I can easily think of though, unfortunately. So, but yeah,
I
like,
don't
'cause
throw the Boston College game in there. I don't throw any game
really,
that was started by MJ Morris in there. No, you had MJ Morris
no.
at quarterback.
Yeah, man, but man, like, you literally just had to beat one guy, Zay Flowers. That's all you had to do. It was 11 versus
Yeah.
8 Flowers, and you still couldn't beat him. Like, come on, man. You had Peyton Wilson, Drake Thomas, Isaiah Moore, Tanner Ingle. Like, come on, man. Just stop him. So anyway, oh well. All right, let's move on here. Syracuse, bud. Next following weekend, Carter Finley. Uh, it's funny thinking about Syracuse because 12 months ago, I think a lot of state fans would have easily said, I would gladly swap head coaches all day and twice on Tuesday here. But there were those talks, no doubt about it here. But it definitely lost a little bit of muster since oh man, the Ohio State transfer guy left in their one incredible season here. But what's your thoughts here, bud? I mean, coming off of Duke here, another game here, I think NC State should be in the driver's seat for. Licking wounds a little bit here. Do you think that you double down on Syracuse too?
Yeah, yeah. Syracuse to me kind of similar to Stanford, where you expect them to be at the bottom of the league. The one thing I would say about Syracuse, they were solid last year up until Steve Angeli tore his Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
They were
Agreed.
beating Clemson in that game. I want to say they still ended up winning it, but they may not have. Don't quote me on that. But without him, they went in the tank. So
Yeah.
yeah, yes, I expect NC State to win this game. But another one, and this is probably the one, this is the game where it's like, okay, this could be a 14-point spread. This could be a 17-point spread if things
Mm-hmm.
really get out of hand with Syracuse. Um, but yeah, I don't think very highly of Syracuse, but if they do have Steve Angeli, to me, he's a quarterback. People are talking about Jennings at SMU. Obviously, Mensah's the cream of the crop in the ACC. JKS, Bailey. I don't know how far down that list Steve Angeli is. I think Angeli's pretty good. And
Yeah.
so again, coming back from an Achilles is tough. I don't really know what the situation with that is. So I do like NC State here. Probably the ACC game I have the most confidence in. But I would just throw that caveat out there. Keep an eye on Steve Angeli.
Yeah, and to collect too as well, the people saying that 12 months ago, In-State would totally have loved to swap. Keep in mind that basically the timing of that, matches again coming off of a 10-3 season, and everybody was losing their mind. Saying, "Oh my God, Brian Brown's the next great, all-time great, college football coach here." So just keep that in mind. That's not factoring in a 3-9 season. So, but yeah, no, you know,
Yeah, they did beat Clemson in that game, by the way.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, well,
But
yes,
then
you're right. So,
they completely fell apart after. I don't think they won another game. Yeah,
mm-mm,
they didn't win another game.
no, which is hilarious to me how they have one win, AC win, and it was against, Clemson of all teams. Definitely not the resume builder that Dabo Swinney would love to have on his resume for last season. But yeah, so I mean, for me, I just don't see Doran going back to back. If I'm predicting a state to lose to Duke, I don't see him losing to Syracuse. Like you said, should be good 10, 14 point spread, take care of business. But speaking of taking care of business, going to Florida State, again, to me, it's just listen, Florida State fans have already written the season off. They're just buying, they're just biting their tongue just to let the season go, let the buyout be, another $10 million less, and so that way you can get to a point where they could buy it out and move on from Mike Norvell. So, and I wouldn't even be surprised if Florida State's, uh, if he's gone by then. I mean, the win total is at 6.5. CFN projects FSU to be 6-6. So let's be real. I think that once you have a couple of those, rougher losses from a Florida State perspective, that you know things start to move here a little bit. So that's just kind of my thoughts here, really, on FSU.
Yeah. Yeah, I have State losing this game. I think Florida
What?
State's I
Wow.
think Florida State's able to keep this train on the tracks. I do. Um,
Wow.
I think starting out with SMU at home is very nice, and I think that's kinda gonna give them a little bit of a boost. Their schedule's really tough. I mean, they go to Alabama, they go to Miami, they go to Louisville. Um, and then they still have SMU, Virginia at home, plus NC State, plus Florida. I mean, you're playing 2 SEC teams. I don't know why you agree to that, but yeah, I like Florida State's idea. Like from what I understand, Florida State, their perceptions, they basically, as you said, they punted on this season and said, "Hey, we're not investing a lot in this roster. We're just waiting a year for Mike Norvell's buyout to go down, and then we're gonna move."
That's it.
I still
And you're
think
predicting
that
us to
like
lose.
Yeah, I still think Florida State's idea of quote unquote punting still may be pretty good. Like it still may be a lot of money put into the roster and a lot of recruitments that they're able to win. Again, a couple of years ago, they crushed it in the portal. What if they do that again? I told you, I like the idea of going cheap at quarterback and spending elsewhere. I don't think Florida State did that intentionally, but I think that's kind of where they ended up. And so I think this is a team that is better than people are giving them credit for. They got the big win early last year. It didn't matter. 100%. This could be a team that completely falls apart by like mid-October. But for now, again, you kind of have to see that happen, and we're all just kind of chalking it up to that happening. And I'm not willing to do that. I have Florida State winning this game. And the other thing that I
Love
would
you,
say,
Ethan.
we saw Virginia Tech last year fire their coach and come down to Raleigh and win. Just because you fire a coach, you may not be cooked. You may not be done. What if that interim coach, like it's just an interim coach who's getting one chance to coach 5 or 6 games, whatever it is? What if that's their one chance and they're ready to go out there and they are able to get everybody fired up? What if that happens? We saw it last year. So I don't necessarily buy it and say, well, if they fire their coach, easy win. No, we saw that last year with Virginia Tech, a team far less talented.
Yeah. Yeah, Ethan, you're the man, but man, dude, it doesn't help either, unfortunately, for FSU that they have by far the toughest schedule in the ACC, one of the
Yeah.
toughest schedules in the country, playing at Alabama, SMU, playing at Louisville, at Miami, Clemson at home, and then after NC State facing Florida at home. Yeah, man, it's tough. And so yeah, man, and also too, on top of it, one stat I actually pulled Ethan to as well is that over the last 3 years, Ethan, at home, FSU is 6-13 against the spread. And so I think about, well, what would the spread be? I would assume probably more than likely, especially again, let's split the difference between you and I, that NC State is, let's say, 7-3 going into this game, kind of middle of the road here. I would, and you're putting FSU probably at 5-5 more than likely here. I would probably presume it's probably gonna be about even, maybe a little bit lean towards NC State here. So I'm taking that into factor, saying, okay, they're 6-13 against the spread at home over the last 3 years, which is the 10th worst record at home over those 3 seasons in the country. Saying, okay, I think NC State takes care of business here, and wins. Now, do I think they win in dominating fashion? No, but again, so many factors gonna be
Is that
into
6
it at
and
this
13
point.
straight up or
So
against the spread?
Yeah, against the spread at home.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I
Yeah,
say that I'm picking Florida State to win this game knowing full well it could completely backfire. Florida State could be an absolute disaster, but I can only go off the information I have right now.
that's fair. So to wrap it up here though, Ethan, at UNC here, I don't care what the temperature is for this game. I'm gonna be there. I don't care how I get it. It totally could set up for a UNC heartbreaker, being that UNC, I mean, again, their win total is projected at 4.5. They could be 4-7 at this point. And NC State could be 8-3, with an opportunity to, be in the potential conversations for AC championship appearance here. I get it. But I don't know, man. I just still feel really good the fact that, again, just unfortunately, 1 year in, I don't think Bill Belichick's shown anything whatsoever of the ability to, you know, put together a team that can fight the way a UNC team should against NC State. I mean, last year against NC State, I mean, UNC, let's be real, laid an egg, just an absolute egg against NC State, and we dominated the entire 60 minutes here. So, uh, and it just, unfortunately, just Bill Belichick has not given those, it's not, I don't think has really bought into the rivalry really. And so, I don't know, man. I feel like this should be a double-digit win for NC State. Simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. The care level about this rivalry right now is completely lopsided.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
and I think that went a long way into what we saw last year. You're right. Belichick is a disaster. And I kind of thought they were going to have to give Hubert Davis another year because of the Bill Belichick situation.
Right.
And so, like, that's kind of something I'm watching here is like, okay, you fired Hubert, financially, you made an investment into basketball. Are you now able to turn around the next year, less than 12 months later, and do that again in football? I don't know. Maybe. But they're a train wreck. You kind of wonder like if they're able to get some good vibes going, what happens? But what is there to think that there's going to be good vibes coming from anywhere? You mentioned how difficult the schedule is. If they beat TCU, maybe like that's kind of their glimmer of hope. But the teams that have lost overseas and come back, their track record has just been awful. It's been awful. Those teams have all bottomed out, and I kind of expect the same thing to happen again to UNC. Now, again, the other thing I would say is at least before Belichick got there, with Mac Brown, these games, like we've kind of taken for granted State beating them, but some of these games have been real dogfights. Like that, like State's won them, but they have like been 50-50 at best. Like a couple of years ago, like that was not was that in 24? That was not an easy
Yep.
win for NC State. You go back to 22, not an easy win. 2023, you know, State was able to breathe a little easier, but again, we kind of just assume that State's going to win this game because they have, but some of these games have been dogfights. And again,
Yeah.
so yes, I expect NC State to win this game. I'm picking them to do it, but it's another game where I'm like, maybe State wins by 3 touchdowns again, maybe. But like I'm not assuming that right now in August. So yeah, for me
Yep.
this is a win, but it's another game where like every single game for me falls in this category where I'm not willing to assume a win at this point.
Agreed. Yeah, no, 100%. So yeah, so I think that'll wrap it up there for us, Ethan. So I have us at 10-2 with losses to Virginia and Duke. And you had us losing to Duke,
At 8-4,
Virginia,
Virginia,
8-4.
Vandy, Duke, and Florida State.
Okay. That's interesting for sure road there, but like you said, we've seen crazier to say at least for sure. So with that being said, Wolfpack Nation, definitely hold us to our predictions here for sure. Go ahead and bookmark this, keep us honest as the season goes.
Only
And
if we're right though.
only yeah, sure. Only if we're right. We'll take it if we're wrong. That's hey, especially our losses for sure. We'll be glad to own those incorrect statements though. With that being said, Wolfpack Nation, again, if you haven't already, do us a big favor, hit that subscribe button, so that way you're notified whenever we release any new NC State content here, as we got an amazing preview here coming up here of the game versus UVA. You do not want to miss it. Make sure also to do us a big favor, hit that like button if you're watching us on YouTube, or if you listen to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. Do us a big favor, leave us a 5-star review. We greatly appreciate that as well. Make sure to go check out our amazing Patreon. Click link down in the description below. Only $5 a month to get 12 members only videos per month. So that's amazing bang for your buck right there, to say the least. Again, only $5 a month, 12 members only videos. And also too, as well, go make sure to check out our amazing sponsor, Oconee Gold BBQ sauces and rubs. Use code Tuffy Talk to get 15% off your entire order. And make sure to give us a follow, Tuffy Talk now on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. But with that being said, y'all, we will see you all soon. And as always, go Pack, y'all.